Namaste. Welcome to Buddha's teaching. Today we're going to talk about forgiveness. When it comes to forgiveness, people tend to think about forgiving someone other than themselves, someone who had done something wrong to them. So people can forgive others based on their own levels of tolerance, based on what had happened. So it's a case-by-case decision. You may be able to forgive your friend who has accused you of stealing their property or their money, but you may not be able to forgive your friend who has stolen your girlfriend or boyfriend. You may be able to forgive someone who has scolded you, cussed at you, cussed you out, but you may not be able to forgive the person if he punches you in the face. There are countless cases of events that people cannot, in their heart, find forgiveness for others who had done bad, evil things, such as rape, incest, or murder. Can you forgive someone who had raped your wife or daughter? Can you forgive someone who had robbed and murdered your children? We all have a line that cannot be crossed, isn't it? Many people would take the law into their own hands. It's an eye for an eye. Anger, resentment, hatred stays in people's heart for a very, very long time, for a whole lifetime, or even many lifetimes. A heart that carries anger, resentment, and hatred is a heavy heart. It's a heart that is sad and depressed, tangled up in a ball of negative energy. It's a heart that projects like a cold, gray, rainy winter sky. It's a heart of sorrow. In Buddhism, this feeling is due to our own attachment. That is called the clinging eye. The eye that is attached to the physical form. The eye that is attached to the feelings, to the emotions. The eye cannot accept what had happened, and therefore the eye cannot release itself from that bondage. So, true forgiveness requires a deep understanding of the law of karma. True forgiveness also requires a clear, deep understanding of who we are, the teaching of the non-self, which is called anatta in Pali language, and the teaching of what the mind is itself, which is called citta. So, a true forgiveness requires a deepest understanding of our true own nature through self-inquiries guided by the light of Buddha's teachings. It involves many pieces of understanding about life, about who we are. So, from the lay people's perspective, the ability to forgive someone depends on the level of severity of the mishaps or of the crimes. If the crimes involve life and death of loved ones, if the crimes involve permanent physical scars, it creates a lifelong trauma which people find it next to impossible to forgive. From a lay person's perspective, there is someone bad or evil who committed the crime, and the person is the victim. Buddha's teachings point us to look at the truth beyond our conventional understanding. As the Buddha had said, the mind precedes all things. It precedes our speech, it precedes our actions. The mind is at the core of all phenomenon. It makes the body say things. It makes the body do things. An ignorant, deluded mind leads the body to produce unwholesome deeds, unwholesome speech, and do unwholesome actions. An awakened mind leads the body to produce wholesome deeds, wholesome speech, and wholesome actions. The physical body is just the tool that the mind uses. The tool itself is an independently innocent aggregate that is motionless and emotionless without the mind. This is an important differentiation in view between an enlightened mind and the mind of ordinary lay people. Lay people identify each other with the physical body, whereas an enlightened ones who have no attachment to the body but only see the operation of the mind. This is why we lay people find it difficult to forgive due to our attachment to oneself and others, while the awakened ones only see the natural process of the mind. True forgiveness is an act of selflessness, non-attachment, and not a suppression of feelings or like a sweeping it under the rug scenario kind of thing. A great example of true forgiveness are the last words of Jesus Christ when they nailed him to the cross. His last words were, "Forgive them, for they know not what they are doing." So, these are the words of an enlightened person. They hold no anger, they hold no hatred toward ignorant people who are doing things based on ignorance. So, forgiving is an act of letting go. It's an act of detachment. It's an act of releasing the clinging I from bondage. The true beneficiary of forgiveness is the person himself or herself who do the forgiving of others. The person would immediately feel the lightness in his or her own spirit. It's like a dark cloud that disappears and the sun starts to shine again. Forgiveness does not mean that we accept bad behavior or bad deeds as okay, not a problem. It's not like that. We can shine light on what or what not should be done. What is it that we can do? We can help. We can offer assistance. Or if it is beyond our ability and it involves law enforcement, then we let the laws of the land take care of the individuals based on their karma. But we do not harbor negative feelings within, because we know that ignorant, deluded mind will do unwholesome deeds due to greed, desire, anger, and hatred. And there is no one behind it doing this.